Investor's Edge with Gary Kaltbaum. Straight talk about you and your money. Now from the BizTalk studios, here is Gary Kaltbaum.
And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. I'm Gary Kaltbaum, your host. Hey, thanks for being with us today. Glad you're here, ladies and gentlemen. Happy that you are listening. It is July 31st, 2024. Hope you're having a good day. Wild day where I live, ladies and gentlemen. In fact, quite the wild day. We will cover it from soup to nuts. But first, if you don't know who we are, this is Investor's Edge, serious talk on everything that affects you. We do markets, and the goal is to guide you in markets, uptrends, downtrends, tops, bottoms, bullish phases, bearish phases, what's leading, what's lagging, what to avoid, what to accentuate, and then close our eyes, hold our nose, and pray. And when wrong, be wrong fast, be wrong small. When right, try to let them run as far as possible. And don't do what we just did with gold. We bought gold, we stopped out with a couple of % loss, and it's right back up where we bought it. And now we got to decide, do I go buy in again? We're not perfect. And we tell you straight out. And if you do not get this radio show in your city, we'll post it at GaryK.com. We'll also post it on our Twitter feed, which is now X. And if you don't follow us on X, you should. And if you'd like to email us, all you got to do is be nice. The guy who says I suck has not emailed me in a couple of weeks. That's good to know. And we're down to only one person that thinks I suck. It's amazing. It's good to hear. Good to see. Because as we tell you, we are very strong in our opinions. Very strong in our opinions. But we think we back them up, but we respect your opinion even if you are total polar opposites of us. Totally respect your opinion. Unless you are a Hamas lover, a criminal. Well, you know what we mean by that. Anyway, as you know, we do markets, and sometimes they're insane. Sometimes they're surprising. Sometimes they drive you up a wall. Sometimes you have the direction so damn right, and boom, they pull out a hook every now and then. And as you know, the one thing we have been harping on as of late is that on July 11th, we thought we had a tremendous sell signal on technology, semiconductors, NASDAQ, and the like. We don't do it often, but we told you we sold most of our tech. That was a Thursday, I believe. The next Wednesday, we sold our Apple and our Amazon. Everything we sold is way, way down. Some very far down, notwithstanding earnings. So we're very happy with ourselves. And at the close yesterday, the all-important semiconductor index, the all-important, we have told you this for a very long time, that this is the leading area of the market. And what we mean by that is it really drives a lot of the bus in the market, not 100%, but a lot. And I don't think it's often where they're croaking and the market's going up big, even though we've had some serious rotation as of lately. And going into the close yesterday, the SOX was getting smoked again. Down about 18% since that July 11th. And again, this is so important to us. We watch it closely, and then we don't just look at the semiconductor index. We've got a screen here with about 75 semiconductor stocks all in one column. So we're on top of this in a very, very big way. Without agenda, without bias, we let the market dictate. So we got into the aftermarket yesterday, and Microsoft is trading at $390 while we're on the air. Microsoft, $390 while we're on the air. Down $32 in the aftermarket. And it was futzing around back and forth, up to $390, down. When we left the air, it was $397, $398. I will tell you that I left my office. It was trading at 393, and I was like, boy, that sucks. Even though we sold Microsoft at 453, so we're very happy. We're thinking, oh man, this could really affect everything else. And after the radio show yesterday, they said something. And it lit a fuse. They said the amount of money they are going to spend on artificial intelligence / semiconductor chips, a lot more. Just simply a lot more. And they gave out a number. It doesn't matter what number I give you, but a lot more. And Microsoft starts ticking up, and it goes to 405, 406, 407, but still down a lot for a Microsoft. Down a lot. And then we start noticing the NASDAQ 100, the QQQ, not reacting to Microsoft. It's going up, and going up a decent amount off of that, which told me that the semiconductor stocks, which have been trashed, I mean really badly, to a low at the close yesterday, started rallying up. Why? Because more chips, more chips, more chips, more chips. Forget the fact that Microsoft can give you any number right now over the next year or two, but if demand slows, it ain't going to be that number. But the market did not give a crap. And all we can tell you at the close today, the stocks, well, first off, it opened up 240 points today, the semiconductor index. It opened today, amazingly, at around 5130. 240 points. It closed the day before. The high of the day before was 5119. So all it did was get back the high of the day before, but it did rally further and closed up 343. This is an index of stocks that was up 7% today. So if the index is up 7%, there are stocks up 10, up 5, and the all-important NVIDIA at the close today, up 12.8%. NVIDIA dropped from 141 on July 11th, hit a low, and pretty much the closing low, at 102 and change yesterday. Finished at 117 today. Wow. And most of the questions I got today was, does that change the playing field, Gary? A big day, because we've seen big bounces that occur over a 3 or 4 day period that are equivalent to what these semiconductors did today. 5 days, all in a gap and a finish in the day. What does that mean to you? The answer is, hell if I know. All we can tell you is this. Strong day. It's a bounce. In other words, NVIDIA drops $36, rallies $13. ASML Holdings was up $76 today, but it was down $250. You catching the drift? And I can go through name after name after name, pretty much all the same. Oh, down 30, up 6, down 20, up 8. So we'll just call it a great recovery. A great recovery day on a gap, off of a news. And just so you know what a gap is, you can't trade it. You can't trade a gap. In other words, if it closes at a number and it opens at 240, you are starting to trade it after it's up 240. That's how tough and crazy markets are. And what we do right now is scan and just try, and it's not easy, get a feel for that was a real good move that's not going to be tested. And if it pulls back, it should be controlled and rotational, and we should be good. And let's probe a few. That's what we're going to decide on tonight. You know what we've already been in, but we've been away from tech. And by the way, we're saying this, telling you we sold Microsoft at 453. It's 416. We sold Meta at 530 something. It's 460 something at the close, though. Meta is up in the, it closed at 474. Meta's up nicely in the aftermarket. We'll get to that in a little bit. We sold Apple at 228 and change. It's 222. And that's with today. So we're good, but we don't want to miss anything, and we're going to be scanning like madman tonight and see what we can find. Our thought process is that was one hell of a good jam today on the news out of Microsoft. Up next, what else? There's a bunch. I'm Gary. This is the one and only Investor's Edge.
Hi, I'm Gary Kaltbaum, host of the nationally syndicated radio show Investor's Edge. We're not just handsome radio people. We manage investors' money for a living, specializing in fee-based discretionary money management. No big commissions, just a fee on the assets that's managed. We also provide a full range of personalized services, including retirement planning, fixed income, and educational needs, all to assist you in achieving your financial goals. Understanding not all individuals have the same needs, we'll carefully evaluate your personal goals to determine a proper investment strategy. If your current approach to investing is not getting you to where you would like to be, call us to make an appointment for a complimentary portfolio review. The number to call is 888-422-5559. That's 888-422-5559. That's 888-422-5559. Investment advisory services offered through Kaltbaum Capital Management.
It's time to switch on the integrator units and get the brain cells working.
You're listening to
Hey, this promises to be fun.
Investor's Edge
The last bastion of quality programming.
with Gary Kaltbaum.
It doesn't get better than this.
And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. And by the way, we're saying this knowing there's still a crap load of earnings to be reported. After the close, Meta, which closed at 474. I got it at 489. It was just 504, so it's all over the place already. But Lam Research today, if I can figure this out and not have butterfingers, Lam Research today was up $66 today, but I got it down $35 in the aftermarket on their earnings. So this is what we have to deal with. It's a pain in the you-know-what, ladies and gentlemen. But we work our tail off, and all we're trying to do is find launching pads with uptrends that stick, and me not being a doofus and selling off my gold too soon. By the way, we made money on gold in this move up, but this little one. The Dow was only up 99 today. That's nothing. And interesting enough, I don't know if this is a big deal or not. The Dow at 305 hit a high of the day at 41,200 and dropped 358 points. In the last, let me give you the number. In the last 55 minutes. Just noticing that. I don't know if it's the end-all be-all, but they hit the Dow at the end of the day. The S&P was up a juicy 85 points today. And that also dropped at the end of the day just 28 points. And, of course, it's only 5,000 versus 40,000. The S&P of importance today punched off of the all-important 50-day moving average it was sitting on, and that'll be important for it to stick. The NASDAQ, a juicy 451 points today, and sitting right on the 50-day today. NASDAQ 100, 566 points today. By the way, it does sound like that. The NASDAQ was 2.35%. The NASDAQ 100 was 3% today. So for an index, pretty darn good. And what's the story? Bunch of big names, finally. They've been mowed over, rolled over, hit pretty hard. They had a good day today on the gap. And Microsoft finished down on the day, by the way. So we'll just call today, wow. Out of the box, gap. On one company's news, and we're not making this up. And yes, there were earnings movers, definitely. There were earnings movers, and we're getting that every day, both up and down. But you know how much we love tech, and hopefully today was a launching pad. Not sure yet. But Meta's up in the aftermarket. Qualcomm's up in the aftermarket. Good. Lam Research down in the aftermarket. Not good. And there's a bunch others, I think, reporting that matter less, but we'll be on it. Western Digital. That one's down in the aftermarket. I can't wait to do my work again tonight. Yay. So that's the story. I don't even know what else to say because today was one of those what we call outlier days, out of the norm. They come in different shapes and sizes, both up and down. Today was the down. A combination of how oversold these areas were and the jump. And I do believe Microsoft did say much higher spending than expected. But, I repeat, you know all this great talk recently about AI and spending? I haven't seen a lot of it. I know NVIDIA's numbers are gargantuan. Taiwan Semi's been better. Others, Now ARM Holdings reports, and it's down $12 in the aftermarket to $132, giving back its whole day today. Welcome to my world. Tomorrow's another day. It never ends. Also of note today, as I said, the Dow lost 350 points in the last hour. And I just noticed they were hitting financials at the end of the day that have been strong. We'll see if that means anything. We told you about gold already. And that's on the dollar weakening. And why would the dollar weaken today? Because Jay Powell, who, as you know, I am no fan of, but I actually don't mind him in the last few months because he's done nothing, has telegraphed they will lower rates in September. They didn't do it today. So what they're going to do is play catch-up. The 10-year yield is right at 4.1% now. They're at 5.25% on the low end. So if they drop a quarter, it's 5, and they're still way above 4.1%. And if you don't know what Fed funds is, go look it up. To me, has nothing to do with the economy. Even though they say they're engineering the economy, they're full of crap. They don't engineer nothing. It's the free markets that do it. It's 150, 160 million of us that are the economy. They're just a bunch of buzzards that sit around a table playing paper football and then, let's move a quarter point. They don't matter. They're the most, seriously, they're about as overrated as Joe Pisarcik was overrated as a New York Giants quarterback. It's the best way I can put it. So the Fed did their thing today. I don't watch their press conference because I don't want to throw up. They don't ask the right questions. They got excuse for creating the inflation, blame it on everybody else. And now they've taken credit for the inflation going down when it's just a matter of they stop printing money. Money printing caused the inflation. No more money printing lets things come back down. So tomorrow's going to be another little fun day today as Meta is up. Qualcomm's, and by the way, when I say these Meta and Qualcomm are up, Qualcomm stock just dropped from 230 to 180. And that's with Bing up 14 today. It's up another 12. Rebounding. Meta's at 497, up for total for the day 33. It was 543 at the high. Recovery. And now we'll see what the rest do because there's plenty of others. But we're getting past all the big ones. And Apple and Amazon after the close tomorrow, which I think are like 12% of the S&P, which is insane that two stocks would have that much influence, but that's how it's ended up. What else do I got for you? Oil prices were strong today. I think that's the Middle East. Israel's knocking off all the terrorists. And as usual, the media sucks. There was a guy on the Today Show today. Oh, that'll be up next. We'll segue a little bit. And more in the markets. I'm Gary. This is the one and only Investor's Edge.
Listening to
America is talking.
Investor's Edge.
He's got to be pleased with that. The crowd is just on its feet here. He's a Cinderella boy.
With Gary Kaltbaum.
Comes highly recommended. You're going to feel better if you talk to him.
Okay. So as I was saying, just so you know what we're dealing with, and most people don't see this, but I watch it very closely, and we're going to end up doing a political podcast here soon, but it really should be on the media. So, you got this Today Show, the NBC Today Show, and they have Savannah Guthrie and Hoda, and I don't even know how to pronounce her last name. It's Hoda Kotb, whatever. And it's supposed to be kind of sort of, the hard news for a little bit, then discuss what's going on here and there. Right now they're doing the Olympics, and they'll cover other things. So they got this guy, and by the way, anything I say about anybody on this, I would say to their face. They got this guy named Ralph Sanchez that reports from Israel. And you can just tell he's about as anti-Israel as possible. And I'd say it to his face. Why? Because when Israel goes into Gaza to take out terrorists, his whole entire being is Israel's doing this and Israel's doing that, and look what they're destroying buildings and this and that and this and that, and all these people are dying because of Israel. And of course those aren't his words, but that's how it's coming out. So Hezbollah, that terrorist organization north of Israel, just bombs missiles a soccer field, and 12 kids are dead. This is how Ralph Sanchez presented it. Not Hezbollah murdered 12 kids with a missile strike on a soccer field inside Israel. This is how he described it. Many in Israel are very upset with the government for not protecting these kids. That's how he described it. And if I met him, I'd have to hold my tongue with that stupid, moronic, one-sided bias. And there's a bunch of that going on with the AP, the BBC. It's like an insane asylum, these people, protecting murderers and rapists and kidnappers of elderly, infants, burning them alive. And Israel defending themselves. The new one today is that Israel took out one of the heads of Hamas. This is how he was presented today all across the media. One of the political negotiators of Hamas. He's a political negotiator. How are they going to come to a ceasefire now that they killed him? This guy is guilty of heinous murders, engineering it. There's video of him having, I can't use the word, wetting his pants and celebrating, looking at a video of what happened October 7th. But he's a political negotiator. So this is what we're dealing with here. It's an insane asylum. The protesters are not protesting Russia or the head of Sudan. The Iranians, just so you know, just executed some women because they didn't wear their hijab. They executed them. There's no protest for that. In Haiti, they're eating people. There's no protest there. Venezuela, that prick, destroying the country and completely lying about an election and murdering people on the streets. No protests. Israel defending themselves. How dare you? We give no quarter to any of this. We'll keep reporting on it. And you get to decide. Speaking of that, Trump. And we'll get back to the markets in a minute. Donald Trump did a very smart thing. He went and had a conversation with a black journalist organization that is against him. And I've always said if I was running for office, as a fiscal conservative, I would go on MSNBC first. I want to talk to the people that think they can't stand me. Trump did a very smart thing. He went in there, and of course they were antagonistic. They were giving him a colonoscopy. Here's the problem, though. Instead of sticking to what matters most, he starts talking about how Kamala Harris lied about being an Indian versus being black, and now she's saying she's black when back then nobody gives a crap. And you know what the media is now doing now? Calling him a big, gigantic racist, and how dare he says these things about her, and this, that, and the other thing. Somebody needs to get a hold of this guy and put some discipline in him if they want him to win. He had an opportunity to go in front and talk about the black community and education. And if the communities are on their back, what he's going to do to help out. I couldn't care less if they told me to go F myself and was antagonistic as all heck. What I just want to do is send a message. I'm going to be there for you. I am going to go into your communities. I'm going to get every community leader. If you think there's an issue, we're going to find out what it is, and we're going to do our best to up things up and up things up and up things up and do this. No, he's talking about this, that. Anyway, just wanted to let you know. The dude has just no discipline whatsoever. I wish he did, because economically, ladies and gentlemen, economically, debt and deficits, he sucked. Just like all of them. But economically, on taxes and rules and regulations, he's filet mignon, she's spam. But if he keeps stepping on his toes, I'm telling you, we'll see. Anyway, we'll keep reporting on it and see how it goes. Without any agenda, any ulterior motive, or any bias. We just want we the people. I want everybody able to become what they want to become, reach as far as they want to reach, with no encumbrances, no headwinds. Just set the conditions for people to strive, and may things fall where they may. We know in life there's going to be somebody here on my left side that decides to, I'm going to work 9 to 5 and I couldn't give a crap. And then somebody on my right that wants to own the world and be a big entrepreneur and wake up at 5 and learn this and that and work until 8 o'clock at night and create a business or a restaurant or a retail chain, whatever it may be, and become a billionaire. There's always those levels, and the whole idea is just to set the conditions so people can get there if they want to. Not Kamala Harris saying we need equity. You know, if you don't have this, you got to get this, even if you don't earn this. That was a sneeze. So we'll see how it goes. We'll keep covering it. Don't be mad if we say something untoward about your person or that person. We only care about one thing, and that is we the people. They are just they. That's all. Case closed. We move on. As I stated, aftermarket, a lot of jello moving on the plate. The big story today is the worst area since July 11th. Gaps up today on somebody saying something. And of course, Microsoft does matter. And a good question I'm already getting, what if Microsoft, who came out and said they're going to spend this much, doesn't? Well, the market's going to end up knowing it and send it right back down. In time. Is today momentum time for these areas? I don't know. I have yet to scan. And again, in the aftermarket, Facebook's up, Qualcomm's up, Lam Research is down, ARM Holdings is down, Western Digital is down. So the jello is all over the plate, and when all said and done with earnings, we're going to decipher. The auto dealer is very strong today on crappy earnings. For instance, Visa was weak on earnings, MasterCard was strong on earnings today. We'll look at that. T-Mobile, good reaction to earnings. We'll decipher. What I have noticed is a lot of good reaction to earnings on crappy numbers going down. I'm not so sure that can last. But I just want to repeat again, the big story today was a great big gap opening bounce and not a give back on those semiconductors, which are muy importante. Up next, what else do we got for you? This is the one and only Investor's Edge.
You're listening to
What are we waiting for?
Well, what are you waiting for?
1, 2, ready, go.
Action!
Investor's Edge with Gary Kaltbaum.
Da-da-da. And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. Geddy Lee of Rush turned 71. What was yesterday, I think? He's 71! What is happening? You know, they told me a long time ago that, just so you know, as you get older, it goes faster. I feel like I've lost a decade or two. My son Aaron's going to be 33. 33 in a week or so. We used to do shows for him when he was a kid on radio where people used to call in and do the coolest rendition of Happy Birthday, and we used to give out prizes for that. He's 33 and now as a kid. And I'm thinking, whoever told me that was just so right. I kind of don't even remember 2010 to 2020 anymore. Well, I actually do. I have a lot of pictures. But they were right. And you know what else they were right? My two elbows have bursitis. One looks like a golf ball, the other one less so. And it's because you do heavy work on the triceps. So I got to stop that for a couple of weeks. Ice it 3 times a day. I had those back spasms that thankfully went away. And I stretch 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes at night. You feel these little things you never felt before. I hate it. But I'm going to fight time, ladies and gentlemen. And I recommend the same thing for you. Stay in shape. Get away from the frickin' alcohol. Eat right. Smile a lot. By the way, one of the greatest remedies of health is to smile. It's seriously. I'm a big smiler. I watch all kinds of shows that make you smile. And of course I have Winston that really makes me smile. He's sitting right next to me right now. And Winston's like 12 years old now, and he had bad cancer and it went away. So far, so good. Whew. What else? Where do things stand? When I do my webcast tonight, basically what I will be saying to the peeps is the S&P, very importantly, bounced off the 50-day moving average today. As long as it sticks opportunity, a clean break below, party over. Gold, I fumbled that one, but good. Not going to affect me big time, but I'm pissed. Held the 50-day, undercut it, held, moved back up, looks possibly set up to break out again. We'll see. The Philadelphia Semiconductor Index, very strong day, but very nondescript. You know what I mean by that? We look for chart patterns, photo album for familiar faces. What we would call this is one big gigantic bounce today. I can't figure out yet whether it's got legs or not just yet. The Dow, very weird day today in that it was really kicking. And then, as we said, at 305, it dropped 350 points in the last 45 minutes. Still in shape, still above moving averages, but that finish sucked. We'll see what tomorrow brings. The NASDAQ finished right on the 50-day moving average, trying to come up above it. We'll see if it can get above it tomorrow. The NASDAQ 100, still a little bit below, but one good day to change that. And by the way, Apple and Amazon after the close tomorrow. And no, I don't have a freaking clue what they say and how the reaction is. I do know they usually beat the number. And the inkling of Apple's doing better now, but valuation is really in the trees. Apple is lucky they get paid a premium for being the almighty Apple. Simple as that. The transport's still acting like a penny stock, just all over the map. Wide swings up and down all around. If it can break through 16,300, can potentially do another leg up. That's that. The financials didn't like the finish today, but still fine. Nothing spectacular because financials don't move that much, at least versus the higher beta areas. The yields, the bond market, still fine. 10-year yield has been nothing but drifting lower, which means your mortgage rates are going lower, your loans are going lower, even though I told you yesterday that MasterCard, 34.25% interest rate. Having me tell you for the 1,000th time, dudes, pay off your credit card bill every month. They're ripping you off. By the way, I'd say that to the CEO of my MasterCard and Visa. 34%? By the way, you can never pay that crap off. If you pay the minimum off, 2072 you paid off. They got a great business. Great bookies. Kind of like DraftKings and what is that other one? Come on and gamble. We'll give you $200 free. Gamble, gamble, gamble at the bottom. If you got a gambling problem, call this number. Don't you love people? Entice you to gamble, but if you got a gambling problem, call this number. And of course, the lottery. You never know. That's the big marketing they used to have in Florida. Yeah, you do know. You're not going to win big. You do know. And if you can't afford it, don't do it. And I tell you, I'm a hypocrite. When it gets above 250 million, I play $5. Because it's 280 million to 1 these days. Tomorrow's another day. Today was wild. And I have no clue about tomorrow. Have a great evening. Drive carefully. When you get home, do like I do. Quite simple. Make sure you hug your family. Make sure you hug your children. My mom is home from the hospital. Thanks for all the well wishes. I shall be on with Varney and Company, 10 a.m. tomorrow, Fox Business Network, and same time tomorrow, the radio show. Take care. Have a great evening. Good night, all. Bye-bye.
This has been Investor's Edge with Gary Kaltbaum on BizTalk. To listen to past episodes or to get in contact with Gary, go to GaryK.com. That's GaryK.com.